Seriously, we're going into the Kevin Smith directed episode with an episode like this? Seriously, we needed 160 episodes to reveal what we know since season 4, episode 18. I just like when storylines are collide. The fact that 3 of the most insane episodes of a series run is happened at this week means we're running into the season finals. Only 3 episodes, or maybe even just 2 episodes left from couple of series, and I'm freaked out every single episode, and I just cannot wait the season final where they will collide. On the other hand, they provide me a lot of opportunity to talk about my favorite TV shows like I never did before. So let it kick it out, TV fans! I love The Flash. I'm a huge fan of The Flash. I personally think last week's episode when Barry don't have a power was great, but it was nothing against to this episode. Why? You asking it? First of all, because of the scene between Barry and his father was the most emotional moment of this episode. And then Iris revealed her feeling to Barry. And there was this whole dilemma. Shall I do this? Should I do this? What should I do? Who should I listen? And there was 3 completely different point of view, and you just cannot decide which one do you want to go, who he should follow. What would be your step? I mean, I personally probably would think about it, but obviously, if I'm a speedster and I want to be a speedster, I will just give it a chance. Maybe I can become a speedster. And if not, then at least I can say I used to be the speedster. Yes, I want to save the world, so I cannot really say, you know what, I don't want to be the speedster anymore. There has to be a way how we can stop Zoom, the fastest man in a couple of dimensions, alive. So, you know, you need to figure out which direction you want to go, and I think better choose the right direction. But obviously there was this cliffhanger where they're setting up, I think, at the end of the previous episode, and it's worked out pretty well, so I just can't wait to see a little bit more of that, because I had the feeling that we're gonna meet with new speedsters, and I believe they're gonna speed up season 3, which has a chance to beat season 2. I mean, without Betty Pivot? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like, ever. Right. And on Tuesday, first time ever, Kevin Smith directing a Flash episode, and no one in this planet can be more excited for this than me. Yes, I'm a huge Clerks fan since the 90s, and I grew up on this movie. This movie is pretty much my Bible, and I really believe if anyone in this planet should direct a comic book movie, it's Kevin Smith. That guy is a genius. Even if he don't want to direct, he definitely should write some. And you know, there is an empty directing position on the top of the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, and I just can't imagine a better person than him. But obviously in that case, I would pick Grant Gustin to play the Flash because he just nails it. I mean, literally nails it. He's the best thing on television right now, from the guy's side. And this wasn't a gay comment. And on Wednesday there was a brand new Supernatural, where they finally revealed the thing what we know since day number 1. So, thanks a lot. In this Robert Singer directed episode, we don't see too much of the Winchester brothers, maybe because Jared Padalecki was on the set of the Gilmore Girls, and I just cannot be more excited about that movie. I mean, come on, it's 4 more Gilmore Girls movie. Dude, don't fangirl out right now. You should talk about Supernatural, right? Okay, understand me, you might get the point. So, back to Supernatural. This episode was so freaking insane. Carver Edlund came back and he sat down with Metatron and they went complete meta in this episode. I mean, Supernatural is pretty famous to go meta, but not this way. And there was a lot of criticism in this episode for the series and for the character and for the storytelling ways, and I agree with most of them, and I really love when they show a little tiny finger to themselves, because that means they still the best writers in the industry. I mean, this show is on the air since 11 freaking good years. Except that short period with Sarah Gamble, who run Magicians right now. So, you know, beside that part, Supernatural was always part of my life, and I love it more than anything in this planet. Last year, with the spin-off idea of the Bloodlines, we got a little bit less from the Winchesters, but I don't think this episode was another setup for a potential spin-off. However, I would love to watch a web series spin-off from these two characters because they just work so freaking well together, and there was so many interesting information in this episode, and there was so many aspects of the story what we don't know yet, and I really want to know what's coming next. And obviously the case how the Winchester need to save the world this week was another interesting aspect. It wasn't too creative or too interesting, but it still has the vibe and it still has the feeling. Oh, and I just remember when they have this, when I'm crap, I'm writing episodes like The Bugs, which is the worst supernatural ever. It's in the first season, I think it's episode 8 or something like that, and it's freaking bad. And every time when they say we're doing a bad episode, they always going back to that one. So that's when it comes the mirror into their face, and believe it or not, but it's working! Supernatural just giving you the feeling that the Winchesters are your family and you're part of their mission, and I just really love this feeling. And this episode was a lot more because it wasn't focusing on them, it was more focused on who the hell is this Carver Edlund guy and why he's keep coming back, and what the heck is going on with Metatron as a human being, and that bar, and when that guy started to sing. Oh my gosh. By the way, you can download that song for free from SoundCloud, so you shouldn't miss your opportunity because that song is freaking good. It's definitely better than my voice. I started having the feeling that most of the writers in the industry just simply lazy because every single writer on The 100 is freaking wicked. I mean, I have a couple of drugs on television like The Flash, Supernatural, Winona, but none of them like The 100, because what they're doing here is freaking wicked. It's like the best 40 minutes of your life is happening every single week for 16 weeks in a season, and you just cannot get enough, and the next episode just cannot come too early. So if you don't watch The 100, please don't watch it weekly. Watch it, binge watch it, because this is the perfect show for binge watching. It's easily the best television show on television. I mean, literally on television right now. So please watch The 100 because it is the best show. I don't think I could pick a favorite storyline of this episode because Clark's storyline with Luna was very interesting. It was very deep, and they have a couple of really important scenes, especially Octavia with Luna. And Luna and Clark also has one when she said that I let Lexa win because I could beat her if I want, but I don't want to be the leader. So that was a very interesting scene, and there was a lot of intensive things happening in the storyline, and not to mention the biggest twist of the episode with the big torturing scene, and that was freaking crazy. I mean, this show was always crazy. I mean, they killed an 8-year-old girl in season 1, and after that, you're really surprising that if they going deep into this torturing business. I mean, you shouldn't. This is The 100. This is their job. And we have a Raven storyline, which was showed why I'm not a big fan of Raven anymore. It shows why she isn't a good team player. It shows how selfish she could be, and it shows how much you cannot trust in her anymore. And it just breaks my heart every single time when I need to see her like this. But this is the fact. Raven isn't that Raven anymore, and we need to deal with this. She didn't change, especially not like Bellamy did in this season, but she's still a completely different person, and because of that, because of Ellie's effect on her or her revenge, it still makes a great, horrible point on her decisions and the way she acting on situations, and because of that I just cannot really connect to her on the way I would love to connect to her. And of course there was Spike's storyline, which I find was very interesting. It was a bit too insane at a couple of points, but it has the great points. Just like I said last time, the previous episode was the setup for Pike to become a good guy, and now we see him being a good guy and do the right thing and teaming up with his enemy and his frenemy or whatever the kid is for him, and it was just a freaking good storyline. It was very deep. but they were too late, and it just makes me insane. Especially because only 2 episodes left from the season, and it's really hard to figure out which direction they want to go and what's gonna happen next. But I have the feeling we're gonna figure it out very soon. Come on, time, move! Till next time, watch everything!